The fear of losing sight of your child, even for just a second.
So for parents of children with autism, this is a fear that they live with constantly. Wandering is a critical issue in the autism community that can sometimes lead to a serious injury, or maybe even death. Now there's a new initiative to address this problem and hopefully save more lives. WMAR-2 News' Megan Knight has the story you'll only see on WMAR-2 News.
Tanya Ferguson and her 16-year-old son Jared are settling into their new home in Rosedale. Jared likes to jam out on his electronic keyboard after school and spend some quality time with Mom. It has been an adjustment for Jared, who has both Down syndrome and autism, to be in a new place. And Tanya will never forget when they first moved in and the moment that changed her life forever.
I had been up all night. I ended up falling asleep in my bedroom, and I put him down in his bedroom. And I woke up that morning. Typically what he would do in the morning is he would come into my room and kiss me on the cheek. That would be his way of saying, you know, you need to get up. But I woke up frantically because that kiss wasn't there.
She searched every room in the house. Jared was nowhere to be found.
There was no sign, and it was as if the world just stopped.
She ran outside and through the neighborhood, the panic and fear growing stronger by the second.
So I get halfway up the street and I see my neighbor coming down the road with him in his arms, in his pajamas, with his little teddy bear. And I think his thing was, you know, oh my gosh, this is not my home. You know, I'm ready to go. And he just opened the door and left. Let's go.
Ferguson is grateful Jared made it home safe and sound that morning. But not every story of a child with autism wandering from home ends this way. Like the stories of Avonte and Kevin Wills.
Kevin from Iowa and Avonte from New York, who wandered and drowned, which is very common for children with autism who wander. That type of tragedy, and a great percentage of children who wander drown.
Lisa Wiederlight is the executive director of Safe Minds, an autism advocacy group. She also has an autistic son. She says there isn't an exact explanation as to why children with autism wander, but there are theories.
Some of the thoughts behind it are sensory issues and seeking water, which gives them deep pressure, and it feels good when they're in the water.
According to the National Autism Association, between 2011 and 2016, more than 800 autistic kids nationally wandered off from home. 139 of them died. Here in Maryland, the numbers are among the highest in the country, yet none of the kids who wandered off died.
I think it's so important for law enforcement to have training and to know the individuals in their community who have autism and how that's manifested.
After Avonte's death in 2013, New York Senator Chuck Schumer began working on a bill to train law enforcement on how to address children with developmental disabilities who wander and make tracking bracelets more easily available. Safe Minds and 3 other autism groups came on board along with Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley to get Kevin and Avonte's law passed, which it did in March of this year.
I think it was happiness, but also sadness that we couldn't do it fast enough for the children who died the past year.
Calvert County is already taking steps to ease the minds of families with loved ones who wander. The sheriff's office started Project Lifesaver 12 years ago, setting up people with these tracking devices.
Project Lifesaver boasts it's just peace of mind. It's kind of like insurance you pay every month, but you really hope never to use it. It's the same thing with us.
The device is about the size of a wristwatch with a nylon band that's hard to remove. It uses radio frequency and can be tracked within a mile of a person's location. The batteries are changed by deputies like Andre Mitchell every 1 to 2 months. He says the average find time is about 30 minutes.
Your find time is greatly diminished. Your personnel, your overtime hours, all your resources, you're not going to use all of those. This bill passing is incredible because it really is going to put resources in the hands of departments that they didn't have before.
Now, since Jared wandered from home, Tanya has taken extra steps to better secure her house.
Sensor 1, front door open.
And she hopes Kevin and Avonte's law will encourage other families like hers to do what's needed to keep their kids safe and alive.
That's the end goal, is to save kids' lives. And that's why as an advocate, that's what I do, why I do what I do. Because I would never want any family member to have to end up burying their kid because what if, you know, that what if. So yeah, we gotta save lives.
Law enforcement agencies will be able to apply for a grant through Kevin and Avonte's law to set up training programs and the tracking devices. Baltimore County Police also in the early stages of starting a program very similar to the one in Calvert County. To learn more about this law and also how it will help people with dementia, just go to WMAR2news.com.